Am I audible? Good morning, students.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so let's continue our second class, okay? Break-even analysis numerical. We'll see two numericals. So if you have any doubt in between, let me know just in the chat box, okay? Visible. My screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So let us take one example. So the company is Alpha Associates as the following details. So the details are as follows. So the fixed cost is equal to 2 lakh rupees, 20 lakh rupees, sorry. So 20 lakh rupees, variable cost is rupees 100 per unit, and the selling price per unit is rupees 200. So the fixed cost is 20 lakh, variable cost is 100 rupees, and the selling price is rupees 200. And we need to find out the following parameters. Okay, so the first parameter is the break-even sales quantity, second one is the break-even sales, and the third is the actual production quantity is 60,000. Then we need to find out the contribution and the margin of safety by all methods. So we have two methods to find out the margin of safety. So we are going to find out the MS, that is the margin of safety, by the two methods. Okay, so the solution is as follows. So the data given in the question is the fixed cost. So fixed cost is equal to 20 lakh rupees. Variable cost per unit, that is small v, is rupees 100, and the selling price is rupees 200, that is small s. Okay, so first let us find out. Okay, so first let us find out the break-even quantity. So break-even quantity is can be defined as the fixed cost minus selling price per unit minus the variable cost per unit. So the fixed cost is 20 lakhs, selling price is equal to 200, and the variable cost is rupees 100. So FC upon S minus V is equal to 20 lakhs upon 200 minus 100, so that is 100. So 100, 2 lakh upon 100 becomes 2000. I mean 20,000. So break-even quantity is equal to 20 lakhs upon 100, which is equal to 20,000 units. So that is first parameter, that is the break-even quantity is equal to 20,000 units. Second one is the break-even sales. So break-even sales is just the multiplication of break-even quantity multiplying by the selling price per unit, that is S rupees. So break-even sales is equal to the break-even quantity multiplied by SP, that is 200. So 20,000 into 200 is equal to 40 lakh rupees. The third is contribution. So contribution can be defined as sales minus variable cost. So sales is equal to S into Q minus variable cost is V into Q. So S is 200, Q is 60,000, V is 100 and Q is 60,000. So 100 into 60,000 is equal to 60 lakhs. So the contribution is equal to 60 lakh rupees. Now let us discuss the margin of safety. So margin of safety by two methods. So method 1 is sales minus break-even sales. So total sale is 60,000 into 200, that is the selling price per unit, into total quantity minus break-even sales. So break-even sales is 40 lakhs. So these two parameters are calculated earlier. So sales is equal to 120 lakhs minus 40 lakhs. So 120 minus 40 is 80. So 80 lakhs. So MS, that is the margin of safety, is 80 lakh rupees. So that is method number 1 to find out the margin of safety. And the second method is margin of safety is equal to profit upon contribution to sales. So profit can be defined as profit is equal to sales minus FC plus V into Q, that is a fixed cost, plus variable cost into quantity. So profit is equal to sales, which is equal to 60,000 into 200, that is total sales minus total cost. So total sales is equal to 120 lakhs and total cost is equal to 80 lakhs. So total profit for the total volume is equal to 40 lakh rupees. So that is the total profit, which is equal to 40 lakhs. Now we know that margin of safety is equal to profit upon contribution to sales. So profit is equal to 40 lakhs. Contribution is equal to 60 lakhs and total sale is equal to 120 lakhs. So margin of safety becomes 40 lakhs upon 60 lakhs into 120 lakhs, which is equal to 80 lakh rupees. So in terms of percentage of sales, so margin of safety upon total sales is equal to 80 lakhs upon 120 lakhs, which is equal to 67%. So margin of safety in terms of sales percentage is equal to 67%. So this is the figure from one method. And this is method number 1 to find the margin of sales in terms of rupees. So if we divide this figure by total sales, we get the margin of safety in terms of percentage. So that's how we can calculate margin of safety. Okay, in the next video I am going to take the
So Alpha Associates, there is a name of the company. It has following details. The fixed cost is 20 lakh, right? Variable cost per unit 100 and selling price per unit is 200. There is a fixed cost of 20 lakh rupees plus variable cost 100 rupees per unit. Okay, one unit is costing 100 rupees and the selling price is 200 rupees per unit. So it is asking you to find out the break-even sales quantity, break-even sales, and if the actual production quantity is 60,000, find contribution and marginal safety by all the methods. So, as we have seen in the last class, all the formulas, okay, note down all the formulas and practice these questions and share two more numericals. So, practice, okay. So, let's see the solution. So, first they have written all the givens. Fixed cost FC, variable cost they have represented by B, selling price per unit they have represented by 200. Now the break-even quantity, it has a formula of FC by S into V. If you go back to previous class, it have it has a formula fixed cost minus S divided by S by V. So just simply put the values, you will get break-even quantities 20,000 units. Now what was the break-even sales? Fixed price minus S minus V into S. So you have all the values, put the values, you will get the value. So this is your break-even quantity and this is your break-even sales. Now what will be the contribution? So contribution will be sales minus variable cost. So what is how can you find the sales? Selling price per unit into production unit. So it is said in the question that if your production is actual production quantity is 6,000, so what will be the contribution? So we know contribution as a formula of sales minus the margin of safety. So there are two methods to find out the margin of safety. Number one is sales minus break-even analysis. There were two formula. If you remember from the previous class, to find out the marginal safety, there were two formula. One was sales, actual sales minus break-even sales. So actual sales is they have production is 60,000 per unit. Cost is 200, so you will get the actual sales. Now break-even sales we have found out from the formula. So you got the marginal safety is 80 lakh. Now the another formula is profit by contribution into sales. Now to find the profit, what is the formula? Sales minus selling price minus cost price. Right? We have got all the formulas in the previous class. So you can, in this way, you can find out the profit. Then you can put the value in the formula. Profit minus contribution. Contribution we have found out above into sales. Simply put the values in a formula, you will get a value in terms of percentage, which is 67. Okay, this is the value. Now you can find out the percentage marginal safety by your sales into 100. You will get the marginal safety percent of sales. So any doubt from this part? Any question?
No, ma'am.
What about the others?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So let's move to the next question. Screen is visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
With the concept of break-even analysis. So let us look into the question. A company is manufacturing a product which is sold at rupees 10.5 per unit. The selling price per unit is given as, I'm assuming the selling price per unit is taken as small b. It is given in the question as 10.5 rupees per unit, and the fixed cost of the assets is rupees 50,000. The fixed cost parameter, it is constant and with respect to production level. So it is a parameter which is independent of the production quantity or independent of the production level. So it is given as 50,000 rupees with a variable cost of 6.5 per unit. The variable cost concerned with the product is rupees 6.5 per unit. How many units should be produced to break even? So the first part of the question is we need to find the break even point in terms of quantity or break even point in terms of number of units. The second part of the question is how many units must be produced to earn a profit of 10,000 rupees. So to get a profit of rupees 10,000 with this much fixed cost, this much variable cost and this much selling price, how many parts we need to produce? And the last part of the question, what would be the profit? The profit equal to how much? For a sales volume, of 20,000 units. So let's look into the question one by one. So break even point, we know that in terms of quantity is given by fixed cost divided by contribution per unit, so it is equal to fixed cost, which is the cost of infrastructural facilities, or you can say that fixed cost is the cost of input material or the cost of input labor, right? It is taken as 50,000 divided by contribution per unit. It is given by selling price per unit small b minus variable cost per unit small a. So it is equal to 50,000 divided by 10.5 minus 6.5, it comes around 12,500 units. So this is the break even point where we don't get any profit nor loss, right? At break even point, what happens? The total sales or the total revenue which you get, it becomes equal to fixed cost plus variable cost, right? So let's look into the second part of the question. So to get a profit of 10,000 rupees, how many products we need to produce? So we know that the total sales or total revenue which we get is equal to fixed cost plus variable cost plus profit. So the total sales or revenue for to get 10,000 rupees profit, we need to find out. For 1 unit, the revenue obtained is 10.5 rupees. For Q units, suppose it is 10.5 into Q, it is equal to 50,000 plus for producing 1 unit, the variable cost is 6.5. For Q units, it will become 6.5 into Q plus the profit which we must get is 10,000. So 10.5 Q minus 6.5 Q, it comes around 4 Q. It is equal to 60,000. So Q comes around 15,000 units. Q comes around 15,000 units. So to get a profit of 10,000 rupees, we need to produce 15,000 units. So let us look into the last part of the question, the third part of the question. If we produce 20,000 units, what is the profit? So let's use the same formula. The total sales or the total revenue which we get, it is equal to fixed cost plus variable cost plus profit. So for 1 unit, the sales or the revenue which we get is 10.5. For 20,000 units, it is 10.5 into 20,000. So it is equal to fixed cost, which is a constant parameter. It doesn't depends upon how many products you are producing. It is independent of production level. So it is given as 50,000 plus variable cost. Variable cost is a variable parameter. It increases. Variable cost increases if you are producing more and more number of products, right? So for 1 unit it is 6.5, which is given in the question. For 20,000 units it will become 6.5 into 20,000 plus profit. So if you simplify this one, you will get the profit is equal to 30,000 rupees, right? So this is the first question, and let's look into the next question. So let's go through the data which is given in the question. The data of an industrial unit is as follows. The fixed cost of the asset is 24,000. The variable cost is equal to rupees 64,000. The sales price per unit is taken as rupees 10. Contribution for 8,000 units is given as 16,000 rupees. So what we need to find out? What is the sales volume for break even? So we need to find the break even point in terms of quantity or in terms of number of units, right? And this is the first part of the question. What is the second part of the question? What would be the selling price? The selling price per unit, I'm assuming it as small b. If the break-even quantity, if the break-even point or break-even quantity is brought down to 10,000 units. So let us look at the first part of the question. So the break-even point is given by fixed cost divided by contribution per unit, which is taken as sales price per unit minus variable cost per unit. So this is the formula to get the break-even point in terms of quantity or in terms of number of units. So what is given? The contribution for 8,000 units is equal to rupees 16,000. So the contribution per unit is equal to 16,000 divided by 8,000, which we get as 2 rupees per unit. So substituting the contribution per unit in this formula, so we get it as the fixed cost of the assets is given as 24,000 divided by the selling price per unit is given as 10 rupees. So 10 minus, so sorry, no need to go for this, as we have directly the contribution per unit. We are having directly the contribution per unit. So let us substitute it. So it becomes how much? 24,000 divided by, it becomes 24,000 divided by contribution per unit, it is equal to 2. So it comes around, break-even point comes around 12,000 units, right? So we got the break-even point as 12,000 units. Now let's come to the second part of the question. So if the break-even point is decreased to 10,000 units, so how much will be the selling price? How much will be the increase in selling price if you want to bring down the break-even point from 12,000 to 10,000? So we got contribution per unit is equal to 2 rupees per unit. We know that contribution per unit is sales price per unit minus variable cost per unit. It is equal to 2. So the initial sales price is 10 rupees minus the variable cost per unit A, it is equal to 2. So we get the variable cost per unit as 8 rupees per unit, right? So now the break-even point in terms of number of units, which should be 10,000, it is equal to fixed cost divided by contribution per unit, it is equal to new sales price per unit minus variable cost per unit. So this implies 10,000 is equal to, what is the fixed cost of assets? 24,000, the new sales price B dash minus the variable cost per unit, which we got it as 8. So if we simplify this one, this implies 10,000 B dash minus 80,000, it is equal to 24,000. So B dash will be, it is equal to 1,04,000 divided by 10,000, it comes around 10.4 rupees per unit, right? So if the break-even point is brought down from 12,000 units to 10,000 units, the selling price need to increase from 10 rupees to 10.4 rupees per unit, right? So you can observe one thing here. To decrease the break even point, to to decrease the break even point to decrease the break even point, one method is one method is to increase the sales price per unit. So by increasing the sales price per unit, you can decrease the break even point. That is one important observation you can get from this question. So this is a solution concerned with respect to this problem.
So have you understood? Suppose if you recall from the graph, the graph was like this, right? There was some point, right? So if you decrease this point, this was your break even point, right? If you decrease this break even point here, so your profit will be more. Suppose there is one graph. So this is the loss part, this is the profit. So the more profit, right? Suppose you are getting break even point here, so now the loss is more, profit is less. So the you try to solve this problem from the formulas I have given you in the earlier classes. I'll share the notes, then try to find out by yourself. Okay, I'll upload these videos on in YouTube also. Go through these videos also, plus just understand to by decreasing the break even point, how can we decrease the break even point? By increasing the selling price. Okay, and if you graphically see, if you decrease the break even points, this is the point, right? The cross section was point. You decrease this point, you will get the more and more profit. So hope you all have understood. Mm, all of you can write your roll numbers in the chat box, and those who join late, I won't allow them. Let them know, CR, and rest of you can write your roll numbers in the chat box. Don't leave the class, because I'm taking the screenshot of this participant list also. All of you wrote their roll number? Anyone left? Okay. So see you in the next class. Okay. Thank you for joining. The next class will discuss the new topics, and please go through this break-even analysis topic and problems. Okay. It is very important from exam point of view. Okay. Thank you then.
Oh, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, 102.
Write your roll number now. You haven't wrote in the chat box your roll number. Write your roll number.
Okay, ma'am.
I'm 86 present.
If you have written in a chat box, no need to say. Okay. And if you are in participant list, then I have taken the screenshot also. So I'll cross check. So don't worry about that. Okay then, thank you.